Hi everybody! I'm often asked how I get my paintings to look so real in 3D, so I've devised this little demo to show you how creating 3D effects is really all about creating changes in tone, so the range between the lightest colours in your composition and your darkest colours. This basil leaf certainly has some shape to it. You can get a sense that it's a little dome with a dip along the centre and a curve around the edges. In terms of hue, the colour itself, it's all the same, which makes it the perfect exercise in creating tone, as all we're going to be doing is changing the consistency of the paint rather than actually mixing colours together. If you're interested in having a go at this basil leaf yourself, I have a full step-by-step tutorial where I show you every stage in full detail, including the size of the brushes used, the brush technique used, and the colours used. And that's available in the school section of my online workshop. Okay, so the first thing I did was I took a digital photograph using the macro function on my camera of the basil leaf that I wanted to paint. And then what I've done here is I've actually made it into greyscale. So I've taken all the colour out, so you're just left with greyscale, black and white. And that means you can really focus in on just seeing the tone or the value in the subject. So based on this photograph I'd taken, I decided the scale at which I wanted to paint, which is for me always larger than life. So here I've scaled things up and I did an outline pencil drawing of the basil leaf. And then I began the painting by laying down our highlight colour. So to make sure that it's light enough, we use a green mix at a watery consistency so that you can see lots of the paper through it as we apply it. I get a layer down everywhere and I apply it in the direction of the form of the leaf. So that's mainly in the direction of the veins. And you can see I've got an actual basil leaf there just to help guide me with colour mixing. Once that layer is dry, I apply another wash of the same consistency paint everywhere except for our lightest tones or our highlights. This ensures that we can see those highlights and we won't go over them when we don't mean to. With the lightest tones in place, I go straight in with the darkest tones, which are a creamy, thicker mixture of the same green colour. With the lightest and the darkest tones in place, it then makes it much easier for us to work on the midtones because we have a light and a dark reference point there on the page to refer to when we're trying to mix our midtones. So next I work on the darkest midtones, so the tones that are just a little bit lighter than the darkest tones, by adding a little water to my darkest tone mix. Next, I work on the lighter midtones using a mix just a little bit thicker than my highlight mix. Now that I've taken my lighter midtones a little darker, I can better judge how much darker the darker midtones should come. So I return to my darker midtone mix and add a further layer to the darker midtones. Likewise, now the darker midtones are a little darker, I can judge how much darker to take my lighter midtones. I repeat this until my highlights, which I've been leaving, need to be taken darker as they're standing out too much. So I go back to my highlight mix, my watery mixture, and I apply it over the highlights very gently so I don't lift up the layer before. So you can see that this process really corrects the contrast levels and kind of brings the whole tonal balance of the basil leaf together so that it feels much more solid and realistic looking. And then there's a final stage, which is just to use a fine brush to pick out some of the details, and that's kind of edges to the leaves, but also some of the edges to the veins and even some of the little kind of mottled markings that we see on the actual leaf itself so that it doesn't look too flat looking. And there you have it, the 3D looking basil leaf, created by achieving the full tonal range through the use of layers applied to dry paper and by changing the consistency of the paint to match the tones in the subject. If you're keen to have a go at this basil leaf yourself, then don't forget to check out the full step-by-step tutorial, which will be available in the school area of my online workshop. If you've enjoyed this tip video, then please check out Watercolours with Wow. It's an online workshop with me, Anna Mason. Membership is free and it gives you all my free video tips in one place, the lowdown on the materials I recommend you use, forums to get help and support from other workshoppers, and for those of you serious about taking your painting to the next level, I also offer step-by-step tutorials available through a low-cost subscription service. So come and say hello to me at Watercolours with Wow. Thanks for watching.